Silence. The quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. Rumi. It's often overlooked, yet profoundly essential. Not merely the absence of sound, but the presence of awareness. In a world that rewards constant expression, continuous movement, and immediate response, silence can appear insignificant. And yet, it is within silence that clarity begins. Silence is not emptiness. It is containment. It is not a void to be filled. Rather, it is a space, a deliberate pause, where distraction falls away and what is true begins to surface. It exists in the moments between thoughts, in the breath before we respond, and in the quiet awareness that asks us not to react, but to notice. And in that noticing, we begin to hear ourselves more clearly. Most people are not uncomfortable with silence itself. They are uncomfortable with what silence reveals. Without constant talking or reacting, there is nothing to soften the edges of thought, nothing to distract from emotion, nothing to interrupt the quiet awareness of what is actually happening. So the space is filled with commentary, with opinions, with reactions that arrive quickly and often leave just as quickly, without resolution. This is why some interactions feel draining, even when nothing overtly negative has taken place. It is not always the content of the conversation that exhausts us. It is the absence of pause. When every moment is filled, nothing is allowed to settle. Conversations stretch beyond their natural end. Topics lose meaning through repetition. Energy circulates without direction. And in the midst of it, something essential is lost: discernment. Silence, when understood, restores that discernment. It creates a space in which one can ask, does this require my attention? Is this meaningful or merely habitual? Am I engaging because I choose to, or because I feel compelled to? Without silence, these questions never arise. Everything receives the same level of response, and nothing is truly seen. There is also a subtle but important distinction between reacting and responding. A reaction is immediate. It is driven by impulse, by emotion, by the urgency to correct, explain, or be understood. A response, however, carries space within it. It comes after a moment of stillness, after observation has replaced impulse. It is measured, intentional, and often minimal. Silence is what makes that distinction possible. To be silent, in this sense, is not to withdraw from life. It is to move through it with selectivity. There are comments that do not deserve an answer, misunderstandings that resolve without your intervention, an entire conversation that lose nothing in your absence. This is not indifference. It is clarity. There is, too, a quiet dignity in silence. A person who is comfortable with it does not rush to fill gaps. They allow pauses to exist. They allow others to reveal themselves without interruption. And in doing so, they can serve something increasingly rare: their energy. This kind of silence is not imposed on others. It is carried within. It is present even in conversation, felt in the way one listens fully, speaks sparingly, and does not extend what has already reached its natural close. Over time, the need to explain and the urgency to react fades. The pull to engage with everything diminishes. And in its place, there is a kind of steadiness, an understanding that your voice is not always necessary, nor your attention always warranted, and that some things are best left where they have naturally concluded. Silence, then, is not the absence of connection. It is the refinement of it, a way of engaging with the world that is less about constant expression and more about knowing with clarity when to speak and when to simply let things pass.